Kwento mo nyo nga sa akin, Tati, and sa ating mga kapuso. Nung tumawag sa inyo si Secretary Medialdea, okay, ano sinabi niya sa iyo?
Ang sabi niya na nandoon sila sa Davao at marami daw nagrereklamo sa presidente tungkol sa akin. Siguro, mas mabuti kung mag-resign na ako. So, I said, pero those are not true. Those are false and I can prove them. But he mentioned specifically itong mga scholarships. Siguro it had gotten to that already, yung scholarships. No? So I was still arguing, argue pa ako na, hindi, mali sila. I can prove them wrong. But then he said, sa Monday daw, there will be a privileged speech or, in Congress, etc. Then I said, that's okay, That doesn't really bother me.
Did you tell him that you had only 6 months left to go on your term?
Oh, of course. I said, why can't they just wait? Sabi ko, in 6 months, I'll be out. And sabi niya, pero those 6 months will be full of things like this, na accusations and,
And did he try to check if those accusations were correct? You denied it. Was there any attempt to verify?
Yung papel niya at that point was just to ask me to resign.
Sinubukan namin kunin ang panig ng Malacanang tungkol dito. Nakipag-ugnayan kami kay Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea para sa isang panayam. Pero ayon kay Medialdea, hindi siya makapagsalita sa ngayon tungkol sa isyong ito.
Mukha bang you were begging
No,
to...
not at all. In fact, I said nga, ES, I could go tomorrow, but there are 2 things that bother me about resigning at this point. One, that the president has said in public that he is going to fire a chairperson of an agency for corruption. So I said, corruption? That I cannot accept. And 2, I know that there are people maneuvering to get me out, and I don't think they should be the ones listened to. I said it specifically like that.
You have a former executive director, Mr. Vitriolo, all right? And he apparently was found guilty by the ombudsman of acts of corruption. But he's back in CHED. Ano ba ang nangyari dyan?
Actually, he's not officially back, Maring Winnie. He's just back in the sense that he was dismissed by the ombudsman, but he was able to get from the Court of Appeals, a reduction in his sentence. So
hindi na dismissal.
From dismissal to 1 month suspension.
And this man was one of the people who wanted you out since
Absolutely.
before.
He led a group last year.
And then he was dismissed.
And he was dismissed,
And now
but
he's
not
back.
for that. He was dismissed for
For
something else.
And now he is back, and he is claiming that he is the executive director of CHED.
Well, he is absolutely wrong in that because the law requires that this is not immediately executory. You should have a time for a motion for reconsideration by the complainant. So the point is, all legal opinions, including Malacanang, say no.
Alam mo kasi, under appeal kasi ang kaso. So hindi yan bakante, So pagbalik ng rightful occupant, in this case ako nga that person has to vacate, Kasi otherwise that will be going against order ng Court of Appeals, which is immediately executory yung reinstatement,
Until the case is decided with finality by the Court of Appeals, after the motion for reconsideration process, only then can he claim to come back.
So why is he back in the...
He has forced himself in. And
what do you mean force? How can anybody force himself into a government agency? I mean, you have an executive director now?
We do.
And who
Duly
appointed
by President Rodrigo Duterte. So we have one.
And so what is this man doing?
Attorney Vitriolo has gotten away with so much, and people kind of just tolerate his behavior. And I really find that very difficult to believe. But I really think we have very little police powers. So I guess we could have told the security to ban him. My own spin on it, Maring Winnie, is it would have caused more divisions within CHED. So what CHED chose to do is just totally ignore him. Ignore him. He's around all the time. As I said,
Does he get salary?
absolutely not, and that's his complaint. And he is saying he's threatening people, our admin people, with all sorts of dire threats. But hindi na nga dapat. No, he's not getting a salary.
You know, I've been in CHED for 24 years, no? And that's the length of time that CHED has been existing, 24 years. I've been with government service for 34 years also. So I work with you know, all the chairpersons since the beginning. So wala naman akong problema with them, no. Alam mo, siya lang naman talaga ang ang umaharang diyan, yung sa aking pagpasok. May liability sila diyan because under RA 6713, merong mga violation yan sa anti-graft laws, Meron niyang tinatawag na giving due advantage dun sa wala naman dapat karapatan. So, under our existing anti-graft laws, including yung criminal laws, merong mananagot dyan.
What role did this man play in your resignation? Do you feel that he has played a role?
I would suspect so, yes. I think in my resignation, there were three major forces working. One was internal to CHED, and this is the same thing that happened last year when they, sort of asked for my resignation. And that was led by Attorney Vitriolo, so he's still at it. No? And then, of course, there is the fact that it's clear naman that President Duterte does not particularly care to have me in his cabinet, and that's why he asked me to stop attending cabinet meetings. But he couldn't quite get rid of me because I do have a term. So parang pilit, he has to just accept me even though he doesn't want me because I have a term. The third force would be some politicians, I think, perhaps Congressman Rograles, I would count as one of them, who think maybe this is a way to get pogi points with the president, help him get rid of this undesirable person by finding cause. Kasi they cannot get rid of me because I have a term, but they can get rid of me for cause. So naghanap nga sila ng cause. So the only way really was to force me or pressure me into resignation, which they did and succeeded. Because, Winnie, and no, I'm not a coward. For a while, I really was trying to argue that, but I'm innocent, that's wrong, and I can take the investigations. But I thought about it, Maring Winnie, for the next 6 months, it will be like this. If it's not K-12, they'll move on to something else and something else. So that's what we will be doing in CHED all these next few months. And so, could I be effective under those circumstances? So I said, time to go na. No?
But the president immediately said,
He fired
no,
me.
she did not resign. I fired her. And then he changed his tune. When did he change his tune? He said, no, I cannot fire her.
Technically, she has a term and I cannot fire her. Well, I think one has to get used to the president. That's the way he talks, right? It's very macho. It's very almost confrontational. So that's so he said he fired me. And he also asked me to resign. So they're both true. But in a sense, if he wants to say he fired me, yes, because I would not have resigned naman if he did not ask
say,
me. Yes,
yeah.
you please resign. Or ask Secretary Medialdea to ask me to resign.
Sana kung nung pa niya ginawa yan, hindi disgraceful yung exit niya.
Pero nilinaw niya na wala umano siyang kinalaman sa pagsibak sa pwesto kay Licuanan.
Eto nga, wala nga akong most of the time sa office. And it was Congressman Nograles who brought up all these issues.